welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye, and this is Rye's Reading Corner, and today we are doing the mid-year freakout book tag. Okay, so again, welcome, I'm Rye. If this is the first time you're seeing my face, or if you've not done so yet, I would love and appreciate so much if you would hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow, and I super appreciate it. So I am super excited to film this video. How many times can I say the word excited in this video? It is the mid-year freakout tag, which it's not exactly midpoint yet, but it's pretty close. And I'm going to be on vacation, so I'm going to film now and post it a little bit early. But I filmed this one last year. It's one of my favorites to do. It's really fun just to reflect on how the year's going so far. So we're going to just dive right in with all of the questions. Okay, question number 1 is, what is the best book I've read so far in 2021? This is really hard because I feel like I've really honed in on what I like in books this year, and I can't pick one. So I am going to pick 3 books, which I'm not following the rules. But so the first book is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is a middle grade fantasy book, and so it kind of took me by surprise on how much I loved this book. But yeah, it's about a girl who finds out that her brother was kind of a part of this like secret academy, and she's investigating his disappearance, and then she becomes involved in this academy, and it's a magical world and it's some competition, and I just really loved it. The story is amazing. I love Amari, and there were many times where I forgot I was even actually reading a middle grade book. That's how good it is. So definitely Amari and the Night Brothers. The next one is a series that an author you're going to hear many times throughout this video because it has become just everything to me, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This duology is just means everything to me, and I love it. And this takes place again in the Grisha world, the Grisha verse, which is where Shadow and Bones takes place, but this is like I think like 2 years after Shadow and Bone happens, and it follows a new set of characters. But in the Crooked Kingdom one, you do get some reference to the characters from Shadow and Bone, which I loved. And this one really kind of talks about a heist that goes on and kind of some misfits that come together. The found family in this, which is one of my favorite tropes, is just amazing. So I highly recommend both these books. And the last one was another one that really, I don't know why I put it off for so long, because it made me cry, and that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And I kind of just spoiled other questions, but Evelyn Hugo is amazing. I just love this book. Evelyn Hugo is just, it's life, it's everything. And if you've not read this, I don't know what you're sleeping on, because I slept on this one for too long, and it's definitely one of my favorite books of all time now. So perfection. Okay, so the next question is, what's the best sequel I read? And I think I kind of already spoiled this, but it's definitely, that was the Six of Crows edition, not the one I'm looking for, but Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Again, this is the sequel to Six of Crows, and it picks up pretty much right off where this one left. But what I love about this one so much is it really tied back to Shadow and Bone, and some of my favorite characters from there is present in here. And then I'm pretty sure this kind of sets us up for the next duology, which I cannot wait to start. But yeah, so this is just hands down, not even a question. All right, next question is, what are some of the new releases that I still need to read? So this is a long list. There's a lot, but some of them that I just kind of grabbed off my shelf is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. This is kind of have like a dark academia feel, so I'm super excited for this one. The next one is Honey and Issues Guide to Fake Dating. This is by the author who also wrote The Henna Wars, Adiba Gadara. I'm sorry, I know I pronounced that one wrong, and I'm really excited for that one. And another one is Instructions for Dancing by Nicole Yoon, and I just found out this has a little bit of fantastical elements in it. So that really makes me excited, and I've never read anything by Nicole Yoon. So, but yeah, I mean, this is like 3 of like a list probably of like 25-30 books, but that would be way too long for this video. But those are definitely 3 that I'm super excited about. Okay, next question is, what is my most anticipated release for the rest of the year? Again, I will be actually making a whole video about that. This will be out before that, but stay tuned. But one of them is definitely Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Riley Sager is one of my favorite, not just favorite thriller authors, but just a favorite author in general, and I'm super excited. I feel like it's perfect to read for the summer. So that's definitely a book that I'm super excited about. But again, this is a long list, so I'm only going to talk about one, but stay tuned for that video where I talk about all the releases that I'm really excited for the second half of the year. All right, number 5 is my biggest disappointment. And this book I had such high hopes for. I even bought like a special edition of it through Barnes & Noble. And that is The Project by Courtney Summers. This is like they kind of sold it as this cult book, and they're looking for, one of the sisters is looking for the other sister. I couldn't even tell you what the sister's names. But this book was kind of boring, and a cult book shouldn't be boring. It was such a letdown, and I was really excited because Sadie was so good by Courtney Summers. I had such high hopes, and it did not live up to it. I think originally I gave it 3 stars, then I knocked it down to 2.5, and honestly it's probably more like a 2-star read for me. There were parts that kind of piqued my interest, but overall it was disappointing. I'm really sad I spent the money on the land of like the special edition copy of Barnes & Noble's, but it was not great, and I was really disappointed because how could a cult book be boring? But it was, and it was sad. But the writing itself was really good, but it just didn't do it for me. Okay, so my next question, which is number 6, I think we're on. Yes, number 6. I had to check. And this was my biggest surprise. So my biggest surprise is a book that Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner had me read. It will definitely be on my top books of 2021, and that is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Why it surprised me is, one, it's historical fiction. It takes place during like the 60s, but it does carry on to present day. So that surprised me because usually when I read historical fiction, it's usually surrounded by World War II. It's also like an adult fiction, which if I read like I don't read a ton of adult fiction, like literary fiction. I do more of like thrillers, but so adult historical fiction, just something I don't really read a lot about. And this book was phenomenal. I read this so quick, even though it's over 500 pages. This book just caught me by surprise. I cannot wait to read more of Kristen Hanna. I'm sure as soon as I read more, I can officially deem her as one of my favorite authors. But if you've not read this book, read it. It's phenomenal. You literally feel all the emotions from every single character, and it's just perfection. So definitely a big surprise. All right, number 7 is my new favorite author. It could be a debut or just new to me. And again, this is without no surprise if you've made it this far into the video, and that is going to be Leigh Bardugo. I don't know if Leigh Bardugo could do wrong. I binged all of Shadow and Bones and this all last month. And I finished Crooked Kingdom right at the beginning of June, and I will be moving on to King of Scars very, very soon. But I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. The way that she creates characters is just, I just love it. And so I cannot wait to read anything else Leigh Bardugo writes. I'm interested to read Ninth House because it's a different type of writing. It's more of like a dark academia, and I've heard a lot of mixed things about it, but I'm really excited to try it and see if I like her writing in that type of genre style as well. Okay, so my newest fictional crush is number 8. And this just might as well just label this video Six of Crows, because it is literally every single character in Six of Crows I have a crush on. Like, they're perfection. Like, I love Kaz, and I love literally like, Kaz just is amazing. But Inish, I would want to say her name is, Nina, and just, oh my God. Everything is just perfection in this book, and literally every character I have a crush on in here. So yeah, I am addicted to Six of Crows, and I love every single character in that book. So enough said. Okay, next question is my new favorite character. So I promise you I will not do a character from Six of Crows, which technically yes, but another one of my favorite characters is Evelyn Hugo from The Seven Heavens of Evelyn Hugo. I think I liked her so much because she was willing to do anything to protect and save and anyone that she loved, her loved ones. And that's something that I can resonate with, because I feel like I would willing to do anything for my loved ones to protect them, to keep them safe. And that's what she did. And sometimes it put her in sticky situations, or, she questioned her morals from it. And I appreciated that. I think too, she is kind of a morally gray character, because she did make some decisions that necessarily weren't great, but she did them to protect and save her loved ones and her family. And I really appreciate that. I also love kind of this found family she had with, is it Harry or Henry? I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's beautiful, and I loved every single character. This book literally just, if you have not read this, it's probably one of the best books I've ever read, written wise. It's beautiful. So definitely I love her, and I can really relate to her in many different ways. Okay, number 10. This is a great segue. A book that made me cry. Evelyn Hugo, why do I keep saying that? Evelyn Hugo made me cry. So there we go. That one, 100%. Also, The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna made me cry. And the last one, I actually was reading this and I was getting my nails done when I was finishing it and I literally cried in public, and that is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So literally, these 3 books made me cry. This one, I literally cried in public, which is kind of embarrassing. Okay, number 11 is a book that made me happy. And for this one, I'm going to go with Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Elston. I love this magical world that is created in this story, and in this world that they live in, the magical creatures are actually in our, real world, but they're disguised as humans. And for me, as a child, I always wonder if my neighbor is a magical, a witch or something, and they're disguised, or maybe I actually am a witch at one point. And so for me, I was like, oh my god, this is what I would have wanted in my childhood, where you're walking down the street and they look like a human, but in reality they're maybe actually like a witch. And I just thought that was so cool, and I loved it, and it made me smile because this really just resonated with what I would have liked and lived as a child. So I really kind of could relate to that, in hopes that my world would have been someday like that. Okay, my next one is, what is the most beautiful book you have received or been given this year? So I must say I have a lot of really, really pretty books, but one that I just bought recently and hauled is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. For one, the ringlet's gonna really pick this up, but this cover is so gorgeous. But what really sells it for me is when you open it up and look at this. And if you look at the spine, it's just so intricate, and I love the gold foiling. And it's to the point where I'm almost too nervous to read it because it's literally so pretty. I almost might put this on my bookshelf instead of with this. Hit myself with this on it, the book cover, but because this is just, it's literally so pretty, and I cannot wait to dive into this. But like I said, I don't know, and if you can relate to me and you're nervous to read books that look so pretty, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe it's just me, but I think the book is literally absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm checking my iPad for the last question. That's why I keep looking down, so I promise that's totally not how I normally do videos. So what books do I need to read by the end of the year? That is a great question. A lot. This one, I want to finish off this series. I'm trying to finish the Cruel Prince series. I want to read this one right here if I'm trying to grab it. This is Final Girls by Riley Sager. This is the last backlist book I own of his, so I would like to get this done. I really want to start reading some Cassandra Clare books. I've never read anything by Cassandra Clare. One of my big goals is really kind of reading some of the older YA fantasies, because I definitely was newer to fantasy. I didn't read a lot of it when I was younger. So my goal is to really read a lot of backlist, kind of where a lot of people read when they were younger, and kind of dive into this. I really do like some YA thriller or YA fantasy, or mid 2000s. I love it, and I know it's so many tropes in it, but I think some of those are kind of my biggest one. And the last one is who are my biggest supporters in the bookish community. I don't think this will be a surprise to anyone, but first of all of you. There's literally so many people that I've met, which is amazing. But my big one that I would like to shout out is Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner. We are not just friends here in the book community, but outside. We talk about literally anything and everything outside of books, and books as well. We're always bouncing ideas off each other, and yeah, we're very, very close. So definitely Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner. So I hope everyone's had a great reading month so far. If they're let me know any of your answers on these questions below. And I feel like I've really rambled in this video, but it's been, I don't know, it kind of feels like I just kind of sitting down and talking and sharing with you a bunch of great books I read this year. So if you want to take this crazy journey with me, make sure you press that subscribe button. And if you never want to miss any of my content, make sure you hit that notification button. If you want to be my friend on any of my other social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I just hit 1,000 subscribers on TikTok, which is just amazing. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, stay kind, loves, and I'll see you next time.